So today we will be simplifying square roots. So first you have to know what a square root is. A square root of a number, which is radical x, is the number that gives you x when it's multiplied by itself. So meaning, if you were to have the square root of 9, the answer would be 3, which we know that 3 times 3 gives you 9. So as the definition say, the square root of a number, which would be the square root of 9, is the number 3 that when it's multiplied by itself, it gives you 9. Okay, so more examples of square root would be if you had the square root of 121, that would be 11, because 11 times 11 equals 121. You may also have the square root of 81, which is 9. Now, these numbers are what you call a perfect square. 121 and 81 and 9, those are perfect square. Perfect square is a number that is the product of a number being multiplied by itself. So 121 is the product of 11 being multiplied by 11. 81 is the product of 9 being multiplied by 9. Now when we take the square root of certain numbers, when we take the square root of certain numbers, we may not have a perfect square within it, that under the square root. So if we have the square root of 24, 24 is not a perfect square. You would have to find a factor of 24 that is a perfect square and then rewrite that expression. So for instance, a factor of 24 that is a perfect square would be 4. So we will write this expression as the square root of 4 times 6. Because 4 divided by 24 will give you 6. So we write this as the square root of 4 times the square root of 6. And since the square root of 4 would be 2. So your answer is 2 radical 6. 6 is not a perfect square, and it does not have any factor that is a perfect square. So you leave it under the radical. Now another way to solve perfect numbers that aren't perfect squares is to list all prime factors of that number. So a prime number is a number that is divided only by 1 and itself. So for instance, 2 is a prime number, 3, 5, and so on. So if we have a number, for instance, let's take the square root of 108. So we have to list out all the prime factors of 108. So we're going to list it all out. So we're going to have 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 3. So far we have 2 2s and 3 3s. Don't worry about that. So now we're going to try to find what number can be taken. We're going to separate these first. So we're going to find a number that can come out of the radical. So first, we write the numbers in sets of pairs. So you're going to have the square root of 2 times 2 times the square root of 3 times 3 times the square root of 3. So as you can see, you see 2 times 2 under the radical, which will give you 2. And you're going to times that by 3, because you have 3 times 3 under the radical also, times radical 3, which will just give you 6 radical 3. Yeah, I'm done.